Hey guys, so today I'm going to be casually reviewing the Greatree Mohegan Bow. It's a youth bow. It's actually my little brother's bow. He's had it for like more than 10 years, I would say. He started shooting this when he was in middle school. And as you can see, some of the lamination, it's already turning yellow. So this is a 20-pound bow. Very, very light bow. I want to say it weighs like close or maybe not even, just shy of 1 pound. So super, super light. I think it's a great bow for kids who are just getting into archery, or if parents want to get their kids into archery. I think this is a great way to start. Current price, it's definitely like less than 100. So it does actually come with the arrow rest, which is not very good. As you can see, it's already broken. And then you have like different attachment points, for your sights, which I don't actually like using, so I took it off. Yeah, I mean, it's a takedown bow, so you just attach the limbs with these screws, okay? And then you've also got the balancing rod attachment point, the threads. So yeah, I mean, overall it shoots really well. People have talked about how it's really loud. Personally, I haven't really had issues with that. If there was one thing that I dislike about it, is probably the discoloration of the limbs, but other than that, it's great. It's really smooth, super, super light. Yeah, a great first bow for for kids. And it's always nice to have like a like a lighter bow at home for the for friends who might be coming over and wanted to try shooting arrows, and just to learn about the sport. It's always good to have something light for them, so you don't freak them out with like a 50-pound bow, and then they're gonna hurt themselves and they're just gonna hate archery forever. So yeah, guys, I highly recommend this for kids. It looks really nice, the woodwork and everything. And again, this channel, I'm a casual archer. I only got into archery about a month ago, so all my review videos, again, a disclaimer, they're going to be just very casual reviews, mainly looking at like the aesthetics. If you want to look into something that's more like in depth, like more of like a technical review, you might want to look somewhere else. Casual archer to another casual archer, I think this is a great bow to start with, especially if you want to get into more like a Olympic style kind of archery. It definitely has everything you would need, and also for a very reasonable price. Alright, so we're going to be looking at this ASDW Recurve Bow. I'm sure if you type in those letters you would find it. You know how some of these like Chinese bows, they have like the longest names, okay? They're trying to hit like every single filter out there. But anyway, I used to hunt coyotes with my AR, and definitely want to try archery hunting this season. I've been looking at these very like affordable bows on Amazon and eBay and AliExpress, and I've come across this one, okay? I think it's a really good looking bow in terms of like, the curves, the shape and everything. So, when I was trying to do some research about this bow, it was really hard to find like, a video that talked about maybe like the craftsmanship or the, or the aesthetics, or even just like videos about this bow, right? Because it's just not a very popular bow. It turns out it's actually a very good looking bow, the shape and everything. Now, when it comes to the craftsmanship, after fitting on the, the limbs, I've noticed how it's not completely flat. It's not a perfect fit, if that makes sense. Sometimes, especially when you're out and about and, going out hunting, I don't want to risk like, having my like, clothes caught on these, on these pointy edges. The limbs itself, I mean, they look pretty well laminated, and I don't see any flaws in them. Now, another thing that I noticed was, you see there's a like rubbery part. You see how it's like just flapping? They do have like these pretty like obvious scratches. If you run your fingers through the riser, you're gonna feel like, just these pretty noticeable deep scratches along the way. In terms of like the color and the tone, I think it's good, I think it looks nice. Well, it's a 40-pound bow, which I ordered. I think it goes up, I think it's like 30, and I think it goes up to like at least 60, okay? It's smooth overall, it's really light. I mean, this bow, I would say, weighs just a tiny bit, okay, over 1.5 pounds, which is pretty good, like when you take it out hunting and everything, it's great. In terms of the price, by the way, I forgot to mention that earlier. So the price of this bow, it's running at around like 69 to 72, depending on the poundage. So my honest opinion, maybe for like, an extra 20, maybe even like 10 bucks, you'll probably find something better than this, okay? Oh, and by the way, in terms of like the attachment, so they do have like, holes, like, threaded, these holes everywhere. Attachment that you'll probably need, for more like an Olympic style archery. And that's my review for the ASDW 40-pound recurve bow. So this is the Sinoart Falcon Takedown recurve bow. I ordered the 40-pound bow. It came with a stringer, and also I think these like the arrow rest, which I don't use, and obviously the string. First of all, a very tactical, very modern looking bow. This actually was like the perfect bow that I was looking for, okay? But But, okay, as you can see, something about like the tone of the camo, it just seemed like, you know, maybe before they hydro dipped it, you know, you're supposed to put like a base layer, like a coyote tan, brown on the riser and the limbs, and then hydro dip it, and you will be able to get that effect. But it seemed like they didn't do that. So it comes out to this like really weird, like light, you know, like greenish, whitish tone, which I don't like. Other than that, I mean, everything about the bow, I think it's perfect. First of all, it shoots really well. If you're going to be hunting with this bow, the snappiness, you know, it's not going to disappoint, all right? And one thing I did notice, by the way, is that it feels super, super heavy, okay? For a 40-pound bow, oh my God, this thing is so heavy. It feels like it's like close to 45. Comparing to my ASDW bow, this thing is definitely way heavier, okay? In terms of like the poundage. Aesthetically and the craftsmanship, I think it's okay. I did hear that, you know, from a lot of people online that, you know, they didn't like the bowstring, and if you were to get like a better bowstring, even though this thing cost me like just a little less than $100, with like really nice bowstrings, I mean, this would definitely be equivalent to like a $500 bow. That's what some people said. I don't know, I've never shot a $500 bow. Like I said, it's super powerful, feels so much heavier, super snappy, you know, very smooth. A great bow, highly recommend it. So, I only started archery about a month ago, and the person who got me into it was actually this new colleague of mine, and I asked him, you know, what's the best type of bows to get into? And he said, well, mate, horse bows, all right? And then, you know, I did some research and, you know, looked it up online, you know, like looked on AliExpress, and apparently, you know, like you have a lot of these like Chinese made bows, but the thing is, that's where they originated from, okay? So I actually ended up getting my very first bow from Toparchery, which is a pretty well-known company that makes very good bows and at a very, very affordable price. So as a beginner, I think it's great. So this was my first ever bow, like any kind of bow. This is just a very like basic Mongolian style of bow. As you can see, you know, you've got like the, I think this is called the sear. I actually made some modifications to the sear, as you can see how it's really dark, because, you know, it came with like a very natural wooden color. You know, I just sanded off the original layer, you know, used some of this wood stain, and then, you know, covered it with like another protective layer. The limbs are actually made of glass fiber, so I heard like the traditional ones, like, you know, the full wooden ones, you actually want to unstring it, you know, after you're done. But these ones, you know, you're more than okay to just keep them strong like this. Maybe every once in a while, you know, just give them like a couple pulls and then they'll be fine. I got this bow and it was on sale. It was like less than $60, including shipping and like tax. So very, very, very affordable bow. You know, this is a 40-pound bow. All right, but most people have said how it feels more like a 35, maybe even like a 30-pound. You can see these threads, yeah, they look really nice. So when it first came, you know, some of them were kind of loosening up. So I took some wood glue, just put a layer of that, you know, just spread it over. So it just kind of hardens up the threads so they wouldn't be like flying everywhere. The handle, you know, everything is made of, you know, like fake leather. I mean, like the handle is starting to wear off, you know, after shooting it a few times. Because, you know, like, it doesn't really have like an arrow rest, or nor does it have like a shelf. So, you know, like, you know, without the shelf, doesn't matter, you just kind of put it to the side, you know, draw back. So very, very light bow. I would say it weighs probably just under a pound. You know, very, very convenient to kind of bring around, even if you're going out hunting. So horse bows traditionally, right, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, like the Mongolians pretty much took over like half the world with these. So, you know, these are so light and they're a lot shorter than like, you know, some of these Olympic style recurve bows. It's so versatile, you know, like you can shoot it from like any position. You know, you can shoot it laying down, you can shoot it when you're moving around. There are just so many things you can do with it. Some people like to make jokes about how like these bows just look like toys. Well, the thing is, I mean, they're meant to be really light. They're meant to be really like thin, okay? Like the limbs are meant to be really slender like this. Another thing that I really do like about horse bows is the curves. For some reasons, like, you know, the curves, it's so attractive for some reason. It just looks so pretty. For those of you who are new into archery, or for those of you who want to, you know, give horse bows a try, Toparchery, a brand that I highly recommend. Get yourself one of these bows and start shooting. And by the way, I'm not compensated at all for any of these bows, but it's just my personal experience, and I want to just like happily share with everyone as a new casual archer. So hopefully you found this video somewhat useful, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment below and I'll try my best to answer them. Again, nothing too technical, you know, none of that. Again, this is just a very casual review, you know, just looking at the aesthetics of the bow. Okay, cool. Have a good one, guys. Go shoot some arrows.